guys, welcome to our Thursday event. I hope that you have missed getting together with me over the last couple of weeks. Every single Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we meet here to have our conversation together about moving from ordinary to extraordinary, where we explore the strategies and the psychology of ultimate performance, greatness, genius, where you can literally have an entire life and business turnaround by understanding and applying some of these things. So I'm going to give you a few housekeeping items before we jump in here today about overcoming fear and struggle. What I'd like to ask you to do is just weigh in. Just type in and tell me who's here and where you're from. Put up a heart or a smiley face. Don't put up one of those angry faces. If you have one of those angry faces, then just go somewhere else because you're in the wrong place, all right? Or a thumbs up or whatever, but also type in who you are and where you're from so I can notice, and everyone in this community can notice where you're from around the world, because I know we have a lot of people who join us from around the world every single week. Now, let me just give you, while you're doing that, I'm going to give you a couple of housekeeping items, and then we're going to jump right in. First of all, we're going to be dark next week. I know. It's kind of that time of year. But here's what I'm going to encourage you to do. Go to jamesray.com/live-cast and review one of the episodes that really had an impact on you, or maybe catch one that you're not caught up on. You know, if you're caught up on all of them, congratulations. This is episode 21 today. And so if you're caught up on all of them, if you've been here every single time, then congratulations. If you are not caught up, then catch up. And if you are caught up, then repetition is the second law of learning and transformation. So, you know, repetition is a great thing. That's how you learn. We learn to tie our shoes, we learn to drive a car, we learn to ride a bike through repetition. Now, the conscious mind, the small, limited self, doesn't like to listen to the same thing over and over, but your higher self knows best. And so that's what I'm going to encourage you to do next week. And you might just mark your calendar for this time, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard, next week, and then just schedule it in so that you go and you get that review. You make it happen. You know, things that get scheduled get done. So, then we'll be back the following Thursday, which is the Thursday before Christmas. It's the 22nd, so you can mark your calendars for that. I have an episode in the works that's going to literally rock your world and point out to you how society has programmed you for failure and frustration and lack of fulfillment. Yes, you heard that right. Society has literally programmed you to fail, to be unfulfilled, and to be frustrated. And I'm going to tell you how to break free from that. Break free from those chains so you can live your own life. You're not going to want to miss this. And you know what? I just realized it's episode 22 on the 22nd. So there's got to be some significance there, right? I mean, 22 is a master number in numerology. So put that on your calendar. Then the Thursday before New Year's is the 29th. You can mark your calendar for that one as well, because we'll be here. I'll be here. I hope you'll be here as well. And we're going to round out the year, round out 2016 with an episode where I'm going to share with you the exact psychology and the exact strategies to ensure that you have the very best year of your entire life this far in 2017. You interested in that one? Now get this, not your best year ever, because I'm going to encourage you, and if I have anything to do with it, I'm going to help you have a better year in 2018 than you even do in 2017. But what I'm going to share with you that week before New Year's, once again, that's the specific psychology and the strategies that you can put into place as we roar into 2017 to have the very best year of your entire life this far. So you're going to want to be there if you're interested in having 2017 be off the chain in your life, in your business. What do you got, Bear? Who's here? We've got Marta from Philadelphia. We've got Paul from Hawaii. Oh, Paul says hi. Too bad. You know, Hawaii is a good place to be from, though, Paul. If you can get over there, it might be a good thing. And, hi, Paul. Glad you're here. Angela, yeah, we've got Jacob from Rancho Cucamonga. We've got Francisco from Hawaii. No, Francisco says hi. But you should go to Hawaii, too. I was born there. I have a real affinity. But hi, Francisco. Glad you're back, man. I don't know. You need to tell me where you're from, man, because you're here every week. I wanted to know where you're from. We have Ravet from Israel. Wow, that's great. We have Chanel? Yeah, see my team over here, they can't write for shit. Chanel from the UK. Hey, Chanel, glad to have all of you here. I appreciate you weighing in, and if you haven't weighed in yet, please weigh in. And also, if this content impacts you, then the greatest compliment you can give to me and the greatest gift you can give to your friends and family is to share it. Is to share it on your wall, share it with your tribe so that they can be impacted and improved as well. All right, you ready? We're talking about how to overcome fear and frustration this week. Get your notes out. I want you to write this down. Your job is to be scared. I'm just going to let that one settle in for a minute. I'm going to have a drink of kombucha tea. Now, I've told you that before. Your job is to be scared. James, I thought you were going to teach me how to overcome fear. Hang with me. I'm not going to teach you how to get rid of it, because anyone who tells you you can get rid of fear is not telling you the truth. Fear is a natural human emotion, and your job is to have it and to feel it. Because here's what I can promise you. If you aren't scared, you're not doing anything great. That's just a fact. You know, anyone who tells you they're not scared is not doing anything, and they're certainly not doing anything great. Because if you're going after your greatness, then it's got to rattle your cage. It's going to make you uncomfortable. It's going to make you uncertain. It's going to make you feel fear. And that's a good thing. Doesn't mean you're going to like it, but I'm going to teach you how to use it. You know, let me just use my own life as a personal example. It scared the hell out of me to lose everything externally, if you know anything about my life, and to go to prison. It scared the hell out of me. I mean, when I went to, I didn't know anything about prison except for what I saw on HBO, and that's not a very attractive thing. You know, I didn't know if I was going to be raped or beaten up, or if I would even get out alive. It scared the hell out of me. But here's what I can promise you. I learned so much in that place. I learned about myself. I learned about others. I learned compassion. I learned about the human condition. I learned about the fears and insecurities and uncertainties that all of us have, all of us. I couldn't have learned it anywhere else, in my opinion, my experience, to the same degree that I learned it there. Does that make any sense to you? You know, I don't know if you've seen my documentary called Enlighten Us. It scared the hell out of me to agree to do the documentary. I mean, I had a guy interviewing me on Sirius Radio, and he said, who in the world allows a camera to follow them around in the lowest period of their entire life? I'm like, me? You know, are you nuts? Probably. You know, it scared the hell out of me to do that documentary because I had to turn over complete control to someone else. You see, I had no control. I had no input. I had no say-so. I couldn't sign off on anything. I had to trust. I had to turn over complete control. And, you know, given my experience in media, And what the media does, if you don't know what the media does, wake up. What the media does with content, it was frightening. And so, you know what? I thought about it. I prayed about it. I meditated on it. I contemplated it deeply, and it felt like the right thing to do. And even though it scared the hell out of me, I did it. I did it. I don't know if you've seen it. Am I totally happy with the result? No. No, frankly, I'm not. I mean, the fact is that there are many things. They followed me around for 2.5 years with a camera and edited it down into 90 minutes. So there's a whole lot that was left out. There's a whole lot that's taken out of context. Editing can sometimes be brutal. But that doesn't matter. Look, if it doesn't scare you, it's not pushing your self-limitations. If it doesn't frighten you, you're not doing anything great. Let me just go on record one last time, because I'm going to bring this all back to you. This is not about me. This is about you. It's about us. It's about the human condition. People are still saying on social media, well, James Arthur Ray didn't take full responsibility for the situation. Really? Really? Did you watch the film? James Arthur Ray has never apologized. Well, wait a second. Check the record. I'm apologizing profusely in front of the judge in the documentary. Oh, I was on Piers Morgan for an hour, apologizing for an hour, heartbroken, and apologetic. Now, why does this matter? I'm going to tell you why this matters in just a second, because this applies to you. James didn't take full responsibility. Okay, what do you expect me to do? Because, let's see, I did my time. I paid restitution. I settled the civil claims. I even dropped my appeal, which really pissed off my lawyers. But what I recognize is at some point in time, get this. At some point in time, you have to stop chipping away at the past, and you have to forgive the past, and you have to get on with life. Does that make sense to you? Now, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about you. We have to let go of the past. Look, the fact is, you've probably done some wrong, quote, wrong things in your past. Forgive it. Let it go, because you can't afford to carry the baggage. Not if you're going to become great. You don't forgive for the other person's sake. You forgive for your own sake. Now, if they accept it, that's great. That's great. If they don't accept it, it's still great, because you do the right thing. You let it go. And the fact is that I dropped my civil suit my appeal, even though my lawyers, spent 4 hours trying to talk me out of it. I said, no, there comes a point in time where it's time to heal. It's time to let the past go. It's time to learn from the past, integrate the lessons from the past, and move forward and create a brighter, better future. Can you relate to that? I bet you can, because, this is part of the human condition. So what else can I do? Answer, nothing. There's nothing else I can do. And, here's the fact. I could have gone on CNN and I could have crawled on my knees in front of the camera and lashed myself on the back. And there would still be people who go, oh, he's not genuine. He's just doing that for the camera. Right? Right? There's nothing I can do, because haters are going to hate. And again, this is not about me. I'm telling you this as a personal example for you. Because, if you're up to something great, then you're always going to have those who disagree with you. You're always going to have those who hate on you because that's their job. What does this have to do with overcoming fear? Everything. Everything. Because there are basically, in my research, my experience, 5 basic human fears that we all deal with. All of us. Even those of us who teach it, even if we don't want to admit it, we deal with it. And one of them, I'm not going to get into the 5 fears today, but I will tell you that one of them is the fear of lack of approval. You know, we seem to be hardwired to have other people approve of us. And here's the thing, you know, I had a marketing guy, fairly successful marketing guy. You might even know the name if I would tell you. I'm not going to. But I had him say to me once, you know what, James, you can't find one negative thing about me on the internet. You know what I thought? I thought, you must not be doing anything great. And you're certainly not doing anything unique. Because if you, in this day and age, let me tell you something, if you're doing something new, unique, and great, people are going to disagree with you. And, you know, we're in an interesting time in history where everybody has a platform and everyone has a voice. They don't have to earn it. All they have to do is get a Twitter account. And they can say whatever they want to say. And you've got to toughen up. If you're going to do anything great, you're going to have to overcome the fear of lack of approval. You've got to approve of yourself. Now, I'm not talking about arrogance here, and I'm not talking about feedback. I take feedback all the time. I have a council around me, a team around me who gives me feedback all the time. And I tell them, hey, don't agree with me. I don't want you to agree with me. I want you to disagree with me. I want your opinions. I want your mind, because I can hire a robot to just do what I say to do. I mean, the fact is, if I'm the smartest guy in the room, in my opinion, I'm in the wrong room. I don't want to be in that room, right? I want to be in a room where I'm the least smart guy in the room, because that's where I'm going to learn. And so I'm not talking about getting feedback. You should take feedback and you should listen to input, and I do all the time. But what I'm talking about is criticism and lack of approval and people not agreeing with you. See, most people are so afraid of being hurt, so afraid of losing approval, so afraid of not being accepted, so afraid of failing, that they spend their entire life playing defense and they forget to live. They hug the shoreline and they play it safe. You see, that's not living, that's existing. Let me repeat that, because that's so important. So many people are so afraid of not being approved of by their parents, by their friends, by their family members, by their Facebook community, by Twitter. Oh my God, don't get me on Twitter. You know, I mean, by whatever. Oh, you know, I didn't get any likes. That means it's not art. Really? Vincent van Gogh sold one painting his entire lifetime. One. I can only imagine how much his wife bitched at him. When are you going to get a freaking job, Vincent? Come on. I mean, really? You know, think about if Van Gogh was caught up in approval. If Van Gogh was caught up in people liking his work, he would have been a puddle on the floor. But when he died, he sold one painting. When he died, he left over 900 masterpieces. And what does that tell you? That tells you that Van Gogh made his art for the sake of making his art. Not for approval, not for accolades, not for money, not for likes on Facebook, but he made his art. And the payment was in the making of his art. And how big of a loss would the world have experienced if Van Gogh would have been caught up in approval? Are you thinking? You got to make your art for the sake of making art. We're going to talk more about this time and time and time again. As I told you, repetition is the second law of learning and transformation. He left over 900 masterpieces. They didn't get him until after he was gone. But he changed the world. He changed the world. Live. Again, let me repeat. So many people are so afraid of lack of approval, of people not liking them, of people hating on them, that they hug the shoreline, they play it safe, they play defense, and they forget to live. Tick-tock. It's going quickly. You better seize it. Now, why is all this important to you? Well, hopefully you're already drawing corollaries. But one of the big problems in traditional personal and spiritual development is that we don't often talk about our fears. We don't often talk about our insecurities. We don't often talk about our uncertainties, our trials, our tribulations. We come off like we're Superman or we're Wonder Woman. And you know what the problem is with that? Is that everyone who listens to that feels like something's wrong with them. Let me tell you something. There's nothing wrong with you. Are you feeling fear? Me too. Are you feeling uncertain? Me too. Are you feeling insecurities? Me too. That's part of the human experience. And anyone who tells you that they're not feeling those things is not being honest. And we're not talking about it. Everything's got to be rosy and, quote, positive. Well, sometimes things frankly suck, right? And you got to embrace the suck. They say that in the Navy SEALs. I love that. Embrace the suck. Sometimes things just suck, and you got to embrace. It sucked when I was in prison, right? There's no way I could put a smiley face on that. It sucked to lose my life's work and my life savings and all those things. It sucked. But on the flip side of that, I learned so much. I grew so much. I became bigger, bolder, faster. I developed resilience. I developed grit. And you will too. Doesn't mean you'll like it. I didn't like it either. But you can respect it. And you can appreciate it when you understand it. Are you with me on this? I remember when my life went sideways. I was believed to be one of the world's experts on the law of attractions, the laws of the universe. There were people all over the internet who were saying, well, James Arthur Ray must not know anything about the law of attraction. If he knew anything about the law of attraction, he wouldn't have all this, quote, bad stuff happening to him. Wow. Get a clue. If that were true, let's just think this through. If that were true, then that means Jesus and Socrates and Gandhi and Martin Luther King and Vincent van Gogh didn't understand the laws of the universe. Really? Please. Moses, the hero of the Old Testament, was lost in the frickin' Sinai desert for 40 years. He and the children of Israel were getting their freedom. They were leaving Egypt. They were going to the Promised Land. And then they wandered around for 40 years in the Sinai. I've been in the Sinai. I spent 2 weeks in the Sinai Peninsula with the Bedouins a few years back. The Sinai is brutal. It's well over 120 degrees plus in the daytime and freezing at night. It's desolate. It's huge. It's brutal. 40 years? Moses was lost for 40 years. He didn't understand the laws of the universe. See, Moses understood the laws of the universe. He just had a shitty sense of direction. Now, if you're Jewish, okay, you know, it's just a joke, all right? Don't get pissed here. But the fact is that if you look at history, the greatest of greats have had not easy lives. They've had difficult lives. You can't control life. Believe me, I've tried, and I'm sure you have as well. You can't control life. What you can control is your experience of life. And let me promise you this, the bigger the game you play, the bigger the challenges you're going to confront. It takes grit. It takes bulletproof resilience. And the only way you'll know if you are truly resilient and you truly have grit is to exercise it. Is to exercise it. You see, you can't really say that you stand for something until you take a stand. You can talk all day about what you stand for, but until you're willing to take a stand, even if you have to stand alone, then you really don't stand for anything. And you can't learn this from reading a book. You know, someone on Twitter, after watching the documentary Enlighten Us, tweeted out, you know, it makes me wonder about the value of attending an event or hiring a coach versus just reading a good book. Wrong. You see, a book doesn't challenge you. A book doesn't push back on you. It doesn't encourage you to become bigger and better. Yes, you can learn a lot of great information, and I'm an avid reader, voracious reader, and you should be as well. But a book is never going to give you experience. You've got to put things into action. And you can't get it from reading a book. You see, every single thing that I share with you is not a book report. There are too many people giving book reports. And they might be giving eloquent book reports. And that's great. But you see, every single thing I teach you and I share with you has been developed and strengthened in the arena. It's been fighting the beast. See, a book doesn't challenge your behavior. It doesn't challenge your action. Are you with me on this? A book doesn't talk back to you. You've got to get into the arena and you've got to fight the beast. And make no mistake, the greatest demons and beasts you will fight are your own internal demons. This is what I collectively call the resistance. The resistance inside of you. Those limiting beliefs, those limiting self-talks, those I can't, I'm not good enoughs. That's the greatest beast you'll ever fight. So, who do you want to listen to? More importantly, who do you want to be? A book reader or a beast beater? Right? I mean, who do you want to be? How do you overcome fear and struggle? That's what we're talking about here. You stand up and you stare it down. Your job is to be scared. Your job is to be scared. You stand up and you stare it down. You get into the arena. You turn fear into fuel. You recognize that struggle is your friend. See, you're not hearing this often, I don't think. I don't hear it often. There might be someone talking about it, but I don't hear it. It doesn't mean it's not out there. I just don't hear it. But you're going to hear it from me because I'm always going to tell you the truth. I'm always going to be raw and real. Struggle is your friend. Because it's in the struggle that potential greatness is born. And that's true whether it's the butterfly wrestling from the cocoon to transform itself from the caterpillar to this magnificent work of art. That's true whether it's the chick pecking through the egg. It has to struggle to get into new life. That's true whether it's the snake shedding its old, tired, worn out skin. That's true whether it's you struggling from your mother's womb to burst forth into brand new life and opportunity. You see, it's in the struggle that greatness is born. It's in the struggle that new life is birthed. What has to happen for you to embrace the suck? What has to happen for you to embrace the fear? What has to happen for you to welcome the struggle? Because it makes you bigger, faster, bolder, stronger, wiser. It makes you more resilient. It gives you more grit. It lets you test what you talk about. What has to happen? You see, I learned a lifetime of lessons in the last 7 years. The most difficult years of my entire life. And yet the most magnificent years of my entire life. Doesn't mean I liked them all. I didn't like them all. You know, quite frankly, a lot of it was very, very difficult, to say the least. I was scared shitless. And yet by confronting my fears and by utilizing those fears, turning fear into fuel, by taking that fear and motoring forward, I built greater resistance. I built resilience, rather. I built greater grit. I got to test all the things I had taught for year upon year upon year upon year to you and others that I've touched around the world. I got to test those in the fire, in the arena, in the battle with the beast. And what a gift that is. What a gift that is. It's not easy. You know, the warrior going to battle doesn't think it's going to be easy. But the more difficult the battle, the greater the victory. Look, you know who you are. You know deep down inside who you are. You know what you're gifted with. Because you see, I come from the position that you were born with genius in you. It's not being encouraged. You know, our traditional school system is totally messed up. If you go to school and they tell you to study more English and take more English, wrong. If you're good at math, you should be working harder at math because that's your gift. But that's not what we do. We've been conditioned, you've been conditioned that the well-rounded person is the most successful and fulfilled person. Nothing could be further from the truth. You got to play your A game. You know who you are. Stand up. Embrace your calling. Because you know. Take the action that you know you must take. Be willing to be scared. Be willing to take risk. Be willing to push the envelope. Break free from the prison. The prison bars that held me for 2 years are nothing by comparison to the prison that we create in our own mind. You know who you are. Embrace it. Stand up. Quit trying to be everybody else's thing. Quit listening to what society is telling you is important and valuable. Quit selling out. Because look, you were born into greatness. You've been conditioned into mediocrity. And you say, James, why do you get emotional? I get emotional because the research tells us that 71% of the people surveyed are unhappy. They're disengaged. They're unfulfilled in their work, in what they do for 8 to 10 hours of their day. That's no way to live. And guess what? That 71% is only the people who are being honest, right? I mean, they're the only ones that are talking and admitting it. It probably, if everybody was completely honest, it'd probably be up to like 80, 85%. How do you overcome fear and uncertainty? Well, you understand it and you utilize it. You don't try to escape it because you can't. You learn to use it as fuel. You've got to practice what I call beginning at the beginning. We've talked about this before, and we'll come back to it again and again and again and again and again. Because this is not taught to you as a child. It's not encouraged in society. It's not encouraged in the workplace. It's not encouraged in the school system. Begin at the beginning. You got to go all the way back in your memory to as early as you can remember and ask yourself a few fundamental questions. I'm going to give them to you. Write them down. Ask yourself the questions and, more importantly, answer them. We're queuing up for 2017. Now's the time to get started. Question number 1, what have I always been gifted with? Remember, I come from the premise that you have genius born within you. There's a lot of research to back this up, by the way. It's not just my fancy idea. You have genius born within you. Stop trying to be everybody else. Be you. What have I always been gifted with? And you go, well, James, I can't make a living with that. No, stop. 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 That's the resistance. That's the internal chatter. It's not true. Tell that to Vincent van Gogh. He made it somehow. I don't know how. He made it. And he did what he loved to do. Second question, what have I always loved to do? And you got to think about something productive here, because a lot of times people, conditioned by social conditioning, tell me, oh, I love to lay on the beach and drink margaritas, James. No, you don't. Bullshit. If my mom watches this, she'll chastise me. She does every single time I curse on one of these. She comes back and Anyway, Mom, sorry. Bullshit. I'll say it again. You do not love laying on the beach drinking margaritas, and there's research upon research with over 150,000 people in 150 countries around the world that proves that you love and you are most fulfilled when you're going after something big and you're facing a big challenge and you're doing something meaningful. What do you love to do? What productive thing do you love to do? Question number 2, you answer that. Give it its due. Number 3, where have I had a unique gift and capability for as long as I can remember? I've had a unique gift and a capability for as long as I can remember. All the way back to childhood, I wanted to study the laws of the universe. And I've studied everything. Behavioral sciences, psychology, quantum physics, philosophy, theology, business, entrepreneurship, and I've had a gift of taking all those things and synthesizing them into an easy to apply model. Beyond all the fluff and beyond all the sizzle, just right down to the bottom line basics. My brother was raised in the same household. He doesn't have the same gifts. He can take a car engine apart and put it back together without a blueprint. He's always been really gifted in that arena. I mean, The only thing I can do with a car is put gas in, and maybe check the oil. But other than that, it's going to the shop, all right? I mean, we're about as different as night and day. So for him to try to do what I do would be ludicrous. For me to try to do what he does would be absolutely insane. You got to be you. Question number 4. Recap 3 again real quick. Where have I had a unique gift and capability for as long as I can remember? Question number 4. What productive things have I been attracted to, whether I get paid to do them or not? Van Gogh is a great example. He sold one painting. Question number 4, his answer would be paint. Question number 5, what one thing do I have the potential, all this is critical, to become absolutely great at doing? Look, life is short. Life is short. It goes really, really quickly. It feels like just yesterday I was in my 30s and I'm like, I just had a birthday, Thanksgiving week. I'm like, holy crap, how the hell did I get here? Because it went just like that. And this is true. And so the point is, if you don't have the potential to become absolutely great at something, you better not be wasting your time doing it. Because you were born to be great. Forget internet marketing. Forget network marketing. Forget writing a book. Forget public speaking. Forget all that stuff. If you don't have a unique gift in it, doesn't mean you're not going to have to work, because you do have to work. Even people who are genius. Einstein worked his tail feathers off. Bill Gates worked his tail feathers off. Even when you have a unique gift in an area, you got to have hustle. You got to have grit. You got to put in the time, 10,000 hours minimum. And yet, here's the problem, is that most of us, because we've been told, and we look in our Facebook feed and we're being told, oh, become me and do this and do that and become famous and make money, we're wasting our time, because it takes a minimum of 10,000 hours, according to Dr. Anders Ericsson's research, to become great at something, to become masterful at something. And every hour you waste on something that is not your thing is an hour that you don't have to become great. Are you with me on this? I'm not going to teach you to be me. I don't want you to be me. You can't be me. I'm the best me there is. But I'm going to teach you to be you, because you can be the best you can be, and no one else can be the best you. But you've got to break free of the change and the programming and the hypnosis and the bullshit that you've been conditioned into in this society that says only certain things are valuable. And we've been promised trinkets and prizes, and maybe we'll get rich if we'll just buy in and just follow the system. No. That's a surefire strategy to end up in the 71% club. There's something you are gifted at. There's something you are great at. And there's something, question 5, that you have the potential to become masterful at and to become great at. And you got to give yourself entirely to it. Entirely to it. Answer those 5 questions. That'll cue you up for 2017. Let me tell you this. It's not going to be easy. It's not supposed to be easy. My life has never been easy, nor has yours. And you don't want it to be easy either. Because remember, it's in the struggle that potential greatness is born. But you want to make sure that you're struggling for your thing. That you're working for your thing, your genius, your purpose in this lifetime. That you are here to fulfill what you're here to fulfill, that no one else can do. If it's not easy, it's not great. And you're here to be great. Now look, doesn't look like we had any questions come in. Hopefully you're listening. Hopefully you're thinking. Hopefully I've given you some things to think about. If you have some questions or comments, you want additional information, put them down below and I'll come back and I will answer them after the fact, as I always do. I appreciate you being here. Share this with your tribe if it's had an impact on you. If you want the people you love and care about to have the very best year and to get queued up and to get ready for 2017, it's not about Trump. You know, it's not about his cabinet. It's not about anything. It's about you. No government is going to save you. No outside resource is going to save you. You've got to save you. You've got to determine your life, and you can do it. And I'm here to help you. And let's together become great at our thing, our own unique thing. I hope I've given you some things to think about. Thanks again for being here. Until we speak again, as always, stay awake, love life, and be epic.